Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my.
Woo Child, welcome back to another episode of the Woo Child Chronicles with your mules, Cubana and Broc. What's up, Broc?
What's good? What's going on?
Baby, what's not going on? We got the submarine still down there in the goddamn ocean.
Well, I did see that they found debris from it, so it's not looking good for.
I actually pray that it imploded and that those people did not suffer to death, like suffer in their death, because like that's just crazy.
That's what I was thinking too. But I mean, everybody got like the little memes and stuff going on. Yes, some of them are funny, but like let's have like a moment. There was funny, but let's have a moment of humility. Like, damn, that's scary, but also like fuck around and find out. Because what would you do?
Because like, why would you get in that tube?
That's what I was thinking too. And then you see the inside of it, and it's nothing to it. It's
I
like,
gotta say, crisscross applesauce to go 12,000 feet underwater. I can't say crisscross applesauce for too long in my own house.
Exactly. Honestly, like I'd rather be launched into space than to go to the bottom of the ocean.
Y'all know we're gonna have to do a conspiracy episode. We're gonna do a conspiracy episode because I gotta think about space and the firmament and how I just don't truly. I am actually slowly becoming I'm not all the way there yet, but like the world is flat, folks. I'm almost there. Like I I'm teetering on the. So I don't know how I feel about space just yet. Because every time I look into space, I just feel like NASA be lying. But
we can get into it,
baby.
The thing of the things.
The things of the things. This is a problem. This is my problem. Y'all will learn. Cubana is a conspiracy theory, but I'm like selective, right? Like I'm not like, oh, the world is flat, so nothing else makes sense. But like, was 9/11 an inside job? Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm one of those
most
people.
Definitely.
Like I'm one of those people.
I just also think like that when there's smoke, there's fire.
That part.
And so there's always like a little bit of, if it came from somewhere, there might be a little truth. There's truth in jest.
Okay. Listen, and we're going to start today. Oh, child. So what was it, like the last week or so? We have all heard about the Sukihana. And how do you pronounce his name? Is it YK Osiris? Or
I say YK Osiris, but that's not even somebody I listen to. So however y'all want to pronounce it, like
me neither. I have no idea who that man is and like what he makes. I have no idea like what's like. Does he have a popular song? See, I know Sukihana from Love and Hip Hop. Gee, she funny as hell to me.
So I know Suki from the Cupcake rivalry she had. You familiar with Cupcake? No, I'm a Cup. Okay, so Cupcake's a rapper. She's from Chicago too. Like I'm a Cupcake stan. So they had like a little beef with each other, and they put out like diss tracks. Suki's was lame, and then Cupcake like definitely like annihilated her.
I mean, but if she's from Chicago, you better come hard or just go home.
You know the song where she's like, "Hump me, fuck me, daddy better make me choke." I'm a. I take it no. I'm gonna send you some links.
Baby Sukihana got me with them. I was eating his ass. Then we switched. No, he was eating my ass. Then we switched. Now I'm eating his ass. I was like, what's the rest of the song? I need to know the rest of the song. Because what's Suki talking about?
Suki a whole mess. And then I just also that interview, I think it was Funny Marco, when she was like, John Legend smells like mashed potatoes. She was like, I don't like John Legend. He looked like he smelled like mashed potatoes. I don't know why that was so funny to me.
So even though the funny part about that Marco interview obviously is that he is it's like satire, right? It's like it's not real interviews per se. Yeah. But like the way them people getting so mad, it be so funny. It's hilarious.
She's the best.
Well, Suki and YK Osiris, they were at I'm not sure what type of event this was, or it looked like it was a basketball event or something. Like they were hosting, so it was a panel. Sukihana was the only woman on the panel, and I think that is very important in telling this story, and definitely before we show the clip. But Sukihana is the only woman on this panel, and YK Osiris just kind of walks up and grabs her throat to kiss her. So here's the clip, and then we're gonna talk about this as a whole. Apparently, from some rumor, sources, TMZ, Shade Room, or whatever, people are stating that there was a conversation that was had between YK and Sukiana before that incident, like some flirting, some flirtatious type things, da 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 da. And so he took that moment as like his moment.
Why would you even let that moment be on camera, even if that was the truth? I mean, I don't know what happened outside of that interview. And my thing is like, Sukihana is a character. Like I mean, even just look at like some of these porn stars that these men follow. Like those are characters. Those are not their real names. Those are not their real personas. Even if they are hypersexual, that does not give you a reason to just like in front of all those people too. Like, and nobody like checks him either. Like,
so that's what I was getting at. The whole thing to me was cringy.
Very cringy.
Especially when he grabbed her, she's saying like, "Help me!" Like, though laughing. I think a lot of times, and I'm obviously speaking from a woman's point of view, as a woman, I laugh out of uncomfort.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally I get that.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily I'm laughing because I think the situation is funny. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable and I don't know how to handle this situation as a whole. And I felt like that's what was going on with Sukiana. But like the real topic that Brock and I wanted to discuss was the hypersexuality of men, and not even just men, but I feel like people, period, right now in this moment that we're starting to see, and like the rape culture that has been kind of like nodded and okay as boys locker room situations. So, Brock. Because we didn't seen some things in our,
that we have
college lives. We didn't seen some things. So when you first saw the clip, like, what was the first thought for you?
So to be honest with you, I actually saw another clip before I saw the YK Osiris one. So there's a clip of, I don't know if you saw this, but there's a clip of Suki and she's on Candy from Real Housewives podcast.
And I saw that clip.
A gentleman, I don't know who the guy was. I still don't. But he was talking about.
You talking about Ace? I know who he is, but go ahead.
But yeah, he was talking about he wanted to like put his like face in her vagina, and like I was like, let me take you to the back right now. And you could see like Candy too, like, and the same thing that we were just saying, where she's just like laughing. It's just because like I don't know how to like deal with this situation right now, or what you want me to do. So that kind of put me off, and I'm not even a fan of Suki, but like Suki don't deserve that.
Yeah,
nobody does. And because I love me some Twitter and I stay on Twitter, the Twitter streets will also, they've been posting this clip of like Suki like twerking on a child. Yeah, she was dead wrong for that too, but y'all are negating the fact that we talking about this situation. Like, she apologized for that back in the day.
I don't know if you saw that clip either, but we dragged her ass for it.
Yes, she most definitely deserved the drag.
Don't make it seem like we just like negated this one thing. We dragged Suki ass for that. Girl, what the? Because if it was my son, I would have beat your ass. Yeah, so do not play with me. But in this instance, like you said, like this is a totally different situation. This is like rape culture. This is what we talk about a lot of the times when we say that we do not feel safe as women, period. And to go back to the clip that you were talking about for on Candy's podcast, first of all, Candy disgustes me. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but I feel like she never speaks up when she needs to speak up. And I know that's like a lot of pressure to put on somebody, but I just feel like if that's your podcast, nobody's gonna ever come on my podcast, come on this show, and I can visibly see that they're uncomfortable, or I'm uncomfortable, and I'm not finna say nothing. Like, hell, I've checked Playboy before, I've checked my own friends, but I don't give a damn. Like, y'all doing too fucking much. Like, what's going on? So that's that. But not only was she uncomfortable on Candy's podcast, the way that he just kept pushing the situation definitely just, I don't think people understand how aggressive men come off and why we are like, we don't know what to do a lot of the times. We kind of go into this like cocoon of just like, oh, let me laugh it off, or let me just go along with it because nobody else around me is helping me either.
Mm-hmm. Because I think that people either they like maybe thinking, I don't know, I can't speak for Candy and I can't speak for the other people that were on the panel when YK Osiris was doing it, but are they supposed to be in on the joke? Is she in on it? Like, I feel like people just kind of like don't know what to do in that situation. But if you really, really, truly, if you can read a room and you can read the vibes and you could tell like some shit's about to pop off, like say something. Like I know I would, like, bro, like it ain't like, why you being so thirsty? Like it's
Why
really
you being
never,
so
ever,
thirsty?
ever, ever that serious. Like I read these like things on Twitter where it's like they won't hire men to like be morticians because they be having sex with dead bodies, or they don't hire like them to be like vet techs because they be fucking animals. It's just like, bruh, it's never that serious.
It's really never that serious. But I also don't understand like why as a society, obviously it's American society because that's where we live. Before my other people get on here, my UK listeners and all that shit, I don't know what's going on over there because I don't live over there. But as American society, I'm not sure why we brush this off as just a boys will be boys situation instead of trying to figure out what the fuck is going on and why did we let it get to this point where we feel like boys should be boys and this is okay, or women are sensitive, or y'all being emotional, or he didn't mean no harm. He didn't mean no harm, but now he, harassing my daughter or following her home or won't take no for an answer. Or in my situation where I had a friend literally get killed because the guy just could not take no. Literally just killed her. So it's like, yeah, like at what point how do we, I guess, address that? You know what I mean? Like that situation when it comes to it. Like what should we be doing?
I think it's a lot of unlearning patriarchal roles and how women are supposed to be inferior to men and men should be like, that's a lot of unlearning that I think a lot of people are not willing to hear or capable of listening to. Or also it's just the way that men are raised too. Like for me, like I was raised to like respect and treat women with, just with love and care. And, I still to this day, like men are scary. Like men are fucking scary. So like I make sure like when I leave work, I walk like whoever, like whatever girl's working with me, like I walk her to her car, make sure she's good. Like just certain things like men protect women. Like
Yeah.
it's easy. It's so fucking easy. Like protect the women in your life. You got a mama, like you got like sisters, cousins, like.
And that's why I'm always like baffled when I see things like this Sukiana and YK situation, or any other situation. I'm always like, bro, what if that was your mama? Not your sister, not your cousin, but your mama. The woman that raised you, the woman that you put on a pedestal. Like, what if that was her? Like, what would be your reaction to what she was experiencing? Like, why are we not thinking about it from that manner?
I also think too. Now, what if it was a you and I'm talking about a man? Like, what if it was you in the situation and another man is coming up on you aggressive
Ooh,
and
talk
scary
about it.
and trying to like, because men, yeah, when that happens to them, because there was a video going around where this guy was like interviewing, like doing on the street interviews, and he was like talking to this man, and the man was like, yeah, I would totally take you home and fuck you and do all this. So he was being really aggressive, and people were going off in the comments like, that's disgusting, like why is he so this, that, and whatnot. But man, you have to think about too, like like if a man comes up to you and wants to do something to you and be aggressive, and you two can also be raped. So think about you in this situation. Would you like that? No, because
Talk
I've had
about
people
it.
be like really aggressive to me too, just like grab my genitals, like grab me in public and like try and like, no means fucking
No
no.
means no.
Like
I mean,
even
like,
if we, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No.
I was like, even if we like talk before, we're like, oh yeah, like we had like a mutual attraction or whatnot, like there comes a certain point where I could be like, okay, you're doing too much and I don't like this, and we just need to stop. And you just need to consider the fact that
Like you said, read the
it's
room. But at
done. Read the
any,
room.
like you said, read the room. But at any point, consent can be taken away, right? So just because I gave consent does not mean I cannot now retract my consent. Like, hold on, I thought I was into this. I ain't into this shit. Like, relax. And I don't think that people understand that. I think that they
Mm-hmm.
feel like, oh, she said yes, or he said yes, or they said yes. And so that's all that matters. Like they forget the whole other part where I can still say no. I said yeah, and now I'm saying no. And that's what you need to respect. And even as a mom of a little boy who I'm very, very proud of, because he has definitely shown me that these conversations that we are like me and you are having, I have with him, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever want him in a situation where he doesn't understand that the consent has been retracted, right? Because he's 13.
Mm-hmm.
He's at that point where shit, some of these kids already fucking, and I need to know like that you understand that when she say no, she mean I don't care when she say no. She said no, that's it, it's over. You need to stop. Go ahead and leave it alone. But also, he's at that point too where he stepped in for his friends. At 13,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, yo, she said, like, leave her alone. She said that's not cool. And I don't ever want him to feel like he has to be the protector, but knowing that he feels strong enough
Mm-hmm.
and empowered enough to still protect those women or those girls that's around him. I'm like super proud of him because I'm like, why y'all mamas ain't teach y'all that? What's some more I can say?
Exactly.
I want to start with your mama because she should have whooped your ass. Like, that's how I feel about a lot of these situations. And therefore, why I came to apologize, like, yeah, you ain't had no choice but to apologize. And people are like, well, Suki accepted his apology, right? Because she don't want to deal with it no more. I don't think y'all understand that a lot of times as women or people who have had like a weird experience, a lot of traumatic experiences in itself, we
Mm-hmm.
want to brush it under the rug. We want it to go away. We don't want to have to keep going through it, reliving it, retelling the story over and over again. We don't want to do that. We just want to, whatever's gonna make it go away, make it go away. Okay, he apologized. Okay, I accept. I accept. Like, go ahead, go somewhere.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
I don't think people get that.
Yeah, and I think to just like bring it back to the point, like, and first off, like I love that's what you're doing with your son because there's no such thing as like no Robin Thicke blurred lines. Like no is no, yes is yes, this is that, this is what
Period.
it's gonna be. And I guess to bring the point back is to is like Suki. Yes, we do know she's hypersexual. Yes, we do know what she be doing in her bedroom. But again, I don't know her real name, but Suki is a character, and sometimes is a persona. And just because she's hypersexual in the media does not mean that she is the same way. Same with the City Girls, like JT and Young Miami. Those are personas. Those
Those
are
are
yes. They
personas.
think about it. Yeah, that's
But
a
also, let's talk
character.
about this from this point of view because I'm not sure if you heard about the Home Depot girl.
Yes, I did see that actually.
Now, the Home Depot girl was damn near in a fucking turtleneck when she was like, "Oh, people say I'm too pretty to work at Home Depot," and the way they harassed her was almost the exact same way they harassed Sukiana. So for me, it's like I've seen comments like, "Well, look how Suki's dressed, look how she act." Da, 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 da. To me, it doesn't matter
It
if you're a
does not.
rapist. You're a rapist. If you are like somebody who just doesn't understand, no, don't understand personal space,
Hmm.
then that's just, that's who you are. It doesn't matter what that woman is doing because Suki ain't say what she want to do with YK. She said what she want to do with her man. She ain't showing us what she doing with every man. She's showing what she do with her man. Why
Exactly.
do you feel like you're obligated to experience that with her? Or that she has to give you that part of her. She doesn't owe you or anybody else that. Like you said,
I agree.
that's a persona. That's what she gives us on stage, and that's it. And people need to get that through their motherfucking head. Cause
The hard ass is. Wait, no, I did see the Home Depot girl and I did see the photo, and I'm just like, but men are they're visual creatures, and they just gonna you could dress in a fucking paper bag, and they still gonna undress you with their eyes and make up a fantasy in their head because they feel that they are obligated to your body, and that's just not how the way the world works. And I actually felt really bad for that girl because she got doxxed and she had to like delete her social media just for going to work.
just
She
for going to
literally
work,
just took a selfie at work. That was it.
she got doxxed. They found her address. She has to move. She had to quit her job. She was using her job to pay for college. Like, I don't really think that people understand as women why we feel so unsafe. I actually recently just had a conversation with my fiance, because we were talking about how, like, I always make the comment, when people are like, oh, what's your favorite trait about him? The
Mhm.
very first thing that I say is that I feel safe. And that, he said at one point, he was like, damn, that's like a cop out. Like, what the fuck you mean that's your favorite quality? And I was like, he was like, but I didn't realize until we started having conversations about how when guys approach me, I will give them my phone number and then just block them later just for my own security and safety. Because if I say no, I might not make it back home. And so like, and he was like, as a man, baby, like I never think about that. Like I never thought about how like, oh, like she might just be uncomfortable. I was like, there's been plenty of times where I've been in a restaurant. I'm like, oh no, it's fine. I'm married. Well, you can't have no friends. Da da da. Take my number. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and take it out because you're being very aggressive in this moment, and so now I feel like I need to protect my space and I want to make it home. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you my phone number. I'm gonna go ahead and do whatever just to keep me safe. And like even his thought process, he was like, as a grown ass man, I never ever ever thought about that when you all say I felt safe. Like I know that when he's there, I'm good. Like he got me. I ain't gotta. I keep my head on a swivel because I grew up in the hood, but I don't have to keep my head on a swivel because I'm with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's things of that nature. So when women say they don't feel safe, or if they give you the compliment that they do feel safe around you, like that means we holding you at a high regard, baby, because these men do not care.
They don't, and I like. I'm obviously I'm not a woman, so I don't know from that perspective. But I can say that I have dealt with it in a certain degree to where I know how you guys feel because being in the LGBT community, again, just because they're gay men does not mean that they do not act the same. They're very much aggressive. Like I said, I've been grabbed, I've been poked, prodded. Just for just being there, just for existing. So I understand where you guys are coming from that perspective, and I always try and protect women when I can, because like that's just not cool. And I always make a point too, if I ever give a woman a compliment, I'm just like, hey, just so you know, I ain't creepy. I just like you ever really like pretty face, or like I really like something about you. So I always just make sure, because I get it, men are fucking weird, they're creeps.
Yeah, and I feel like they got weirder. I'm not sure what happened, when I was younger, I was like, boys were weird in general.
I think porn culture and internet really like gassed them up, because I mean, when we were girls, we're on the same age, because we were growing up, we didn't really like, we had the internet, but like porn and whatnot wasn't so like readily accessible. Like porn back in the day, it was chat rooms, but like porn back in the day was more like what's what I'm trying to use. It was like a novelty. Like you got it every so often. Where now porn is where like you could just literally hop on social media and it's thirst traps, and it's just I feel like men feel like they're like more just like accessible to women's bodies, accessible to whoever they're attracted to. Just because you see somebody in a naked position does not mean that it's for you. It's just it's a lusting type of.
Yeah, and like you said, when we were younger, we watched porn on HBO as a scramble.
Yes, I think I see it.
Right, I think that's a nipple. Hold on, like we watched it on a scramble. Like
it was a novelty. You got it every so often.
Or if you accidentally put the wrong tape in the VCR, like oh shit, like what the hell did I do? But yeah, no, and this generation is younger and younger. Sexuality is something that they talk about younger and younger. Like my son was in like the 3rd grade, and one of his friends was like, "Not, I'm bisexual. I know I'm bisexual. I know I like boys and I like girls." Like I feel like when we were younger, we kind of knew who liked what, but we were confused. We didn't know for real. Like these kids know, and I'm wondering because that they know these other older people that are experiencing like this hypersexuality, I'm wondering, is it because they were so confused or maybe shunned or whatever when they were younger, going through the emotions that we might have just been loved for. So it's like definitely something to ponder about when it comes to this. I just pray that everybody raises their kids right.
I'm saying. I also feel like sex too is more like back when we were growing up, it was seen more as like something special, like you need to save yourself or you need to like be with like the right person. Or now sex is just like on demand, so it's like we can just fuck whoever and then just be on.
Because you remember when Lil' Kim came out, baby, when Lil' Kim came out, my family was like, "Oh hell no, that's not what we."
I even think about like Christina Aguilera's "Dirty." Like looking back on that now, that's really tame in comparison to what's out there nowadays. But back in the day, like baby, that was like, oh, she's a slut, she's a whore, she's this, she's that. Like,
oh, what was it? Mama Lied, when it was Lil' Kim, Christina Aguilera,
Lady Mama, Lady Mama, Maya Pink, and Missy Elliott,
and they were in like leotards. And I remember my mom being like, "Oh no." Oh no, they showing this video on TV. Oh no, like she was like, hold on, this is, and I'm like, girl, it's like a swimsuit. Like in my head, I'm like, what's happening? But like I remember, like certain things that we kind of grew up. We are that special sandwich generation where we saw it go from very conservative to like what the fuck we in now.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely can see why my parents were like, the TV got to go off at 9. Like me watching BET Uncut, that was a sneak and do. Like I'm supposed to be asleep. I got the TV on mute
And you
just
have
so I can watch the tip
your
drill
finger
video.
on the box. And
You hear me? Like Disney is on last channel, so I can just go back real quick. Like, whoosh, chat. Like these kids, they just like they have a lot more freedoms and a lot more things to be able to research and look into. And I will say Generation Z and Generation Alpha, I have hope in them in regards to a lot of the things that they are experiencing and talk. Because I can hear my son, his friends talk. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be all right. we gonna be all right.
I really flex with Gen Z. People be talking down on them, but I'm like, no, they the future.
They had me scared when they was eating them fucking Tide Pods. But they all right. They in the Senate making changes and stuff now. Like
we didn't do dumb shit either. So
we didn't eat Tide Pods.
Nah, we didn't. But
we did dumb shit, but we didn't eat Tide Pods. So when they started eating the Tide Pods, I think what it was the Tide Pods is very like critical in the generational differences, right? Because what millennials were getting blamed for that shit. We was like, we're not eating Tide. We got kids. We're not eating Tide Pods. like he's like, what's happening?
We know better.
We know that we trying to figure out how the fuck we gonna pay these student loans. We not eating Tide Pods. They in high school. We not. There are no millennials were in high school eating Tide Pods. No. But we were doing other dumb shit, so I will give you that. And our dumb shit was not televised. So a lot of our stuff we were able to kind of like.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Social media was not at the peak that it is now. So some of the shit we did, like I was like to my friend the other day, I was like, "How am I alive?" I met a nigga on Twitter and drove to Memphis. That man drove from New Orleans and he drove to Memphis, and that's how we had our first date. How am I alive? Like.
I ain't gonna lie, there's some shit like that too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I did some dumb shit.
I can't even hold you because I did some dumb shit like that too. So I still be doing dumb shit though. So, I mean, with a little bit more responsibility backing it up because I'm like, I gotta think about.
I can just share my location. Like, hey y'all, I'm gonna do this dumb shit, but here go my location. In case y'all don't hear from me in an hour, send somebody here. Ping my phone.
Bottom of the ocean.
I had 250 to blow. Went to the Titanic. See what's happening. But no, y'all let us know how y'all feel about this generation, the hypersexuality, and just kind of like what we're experiencing in our generation, which is, I won't even say that it's different. It's more televised than our parents' generation. Because when you think about Freaknik and you think about the other things that was going on there, like that shit was wild. So damn, it's not more, it's just more visible.
Oh, most definitely. That's what I think too. It's something like this, like they be, oh, music's so dirty nowadays. I'm like, what's that old like ragtime ass song?
I stuck his
yes.
I know exactly what you're talking
about. I'm like, they was nasty back in the day too.
They were.
They was unshowered.
Baby, that's why your grandma and your great auntie got the same birthday and different mom. What you think is going on? They not twins. But that's your auntie because your papa was a Rolling Stone. They was already telling us what the fuck was going on.
Barbara and Shirley, like, come on,
hello, Barbara. Hey, calling up Barbara, bitch, this Shirley. Don't call me because I'm be like, what you want me to do? You want me to send him back? Long as he still pay the bills over here, baby, take him. I'm not gonna fight with you.
That's kind of how I felt with Dolly Parton and Jolene. I'm just like, Jolene, you can have him. He's for the streets.
He is for the street. Because I'm ignorant, baby. I'm not just gonna. I won't divorce you. We'll be separated, and I will not divorce you. Because when you die in the state of Illinois,
bling bling. Every time I come around, you're saying bling bling.
Baby, you gonna be mad like she won't give me a divorce and won't. Yo, you want to remarry her? Oh no, baby. Oh no,
not today or in this lifetime.
And you left me for her, baby. We said till death do us part. That means somebody gotta die. It won't be me. So what's happening?
Okay. I
But
love
now
that.
let us know how y'all feel about this whole situation, not just with the Suki and YK, Osiris or what. Tell us how to pronounce his fucking name.
Please.
But not just with them, but just in general with the whole culture that we've been experiencing, able to like visually see, how is that making you feel? And is that changing the conversations that you're having in your households with your male friends or with your children? Let us know in the comment section below. But before we get out of here, Brock, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, I got my screen name at the bottom. You can find me on Instagram at Broc James and Twitter at Broc James _ because somebody already took Broc James. I don't know who it was, but we fighting.
And we into it. And y'all know y'all can find me at Cubana Kiss everywhere, literally everywhere. Wherever you get your social media, baby, I'm sure I'm there. Just look up at Cubana Kiss. But until then, y'all, TTYL. Mwah.
See ya.